We'd like to welcome everyone to this special session in Dr. Nasser Kotby's house. We're honored that he has allowed us to come and interview him in his beautiful house that we grew up in 11th Al-Ansari Street, Manshiet al-Bakri. Today is the 3rd of April, 2024. It's also the 24th of Ramadan, 1445. And in spite of all of that, we have you here agreeing to host us and the whole team with us. So we're very thankful to that. This special event is in celebration of 50 years of phoniatrics in Egypt and the Middle East. Dr. Kotby is not only my mentor, is not only my spiritual father, but he is the father of phoniatrics in Egypt and the Middle East. And because the growth of phoniatrics in Egypt and the Middle East became part of, an integral part of, the growth of phoniatrics in Europe as well, this became, and of the world, it became part of what I think of as the international history. Today's video session in your home takes me back to a concept that Dr. Kotby has taught us all as young residents growing up in the Department of Phoniatrics, that we are part of an international family. And that international family, we develop personal relationships with, we develop scientific relationships with, and that family grows every time we meet each other. It's a family that has one goal, which is spreading the services that are needed for people with communicative voice and swallowing disorders all over the world. We started this in Egypt. Dr. Kotby started it as an example of a country at that time that did not have a lot of financial resources, but he was able to make those resources appear because of his devotion, dedication, and belief in the value of this field, and making sure that everyone would know the value by actual clinical outcomes that prove the value of this field. And for that, we're very thankful and we're very honored to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. My dear friends, I'm approaching you to discuss for you or to narrate for you the history of phoniatrics in general and particularly in Egypt. So in order to give you the story of Egyptian phoniatrics, I must first introduce you when was phoniatrics established and where. Phoniatrics was established undoubtedly in Berlin and in Charité Hospital, Humboldt University, where one of our colleagues, Hermann Gutzmann Sr., presented his dissertation on a topic related to communicative disorder, human communicative disorders, and obtained a degree in phoniatrics. Phoniatrics was born. Then it was carried over in Central Europe, in Vienna and Prague. We have Emil Freschels in Vienna and Mstislav Seyman in Prague, carrying over the duty. And then it grew and spread in different countries in the continent and even reached the European part of Russia. Yeah, now I gave you the onset of phoniatrics. When was phoniatrics introduced in Egypt? First, let me see. I was a resident in otolaryngology. And of course, otolaryngology is one of the medical specialties that should have a deep connection with phoniatrics and logopedics or speech pathology. Yes, head and neck surgery was done, but rehabilitation was that it is healed and the patient can swallow. That is a rehabilitation. Nothing about speech. And the star patient who was introduced to us at that time, I was a resident, was communicating with us in this sound. Of course, this is not speech. It's not esophageal speech. We were not aware. And also, when a child with hearing impairment, severe or moderate, is presented to us, we were lost what to do for this child. Hearing aids were not common in the 60s, and we didn't know anything about rehabilitation. And we knew also that, yeah, there is something called speech therapists in Britain. Usually an elderly lady sitting in the attic or in the cellar, where the great surgeon will throw to her his patients, and nobody knows what she's doing. And then here we didn't know anything about it. We knew that in the Ministry of Education, they employed a Danish speech pathologist or logoped to work in a clinic in that ministry to take care of articulation, speech problems, and fluency disorder or stuttering. The same happens, a similar limited clinic. That person from Denmark is called Bremen Nim. I know that because I have a good connection with Denmark. And then with the High Institute of Teachers, there was a similar thing for an attempt of a person who might have an idea and doing his or her best, because there was no formal education. That does not make phoniatrics or communication disorders. So, but it happened to me that I went to Norway, and I was very happy with this chance to have postdoctoral research program and get educated more in neurophysiology of the laryngeal muscles. While there, we were doing some research on evoked responses to hearing, to sound. And then I came across the literature, because we are writing articles. I have to go through the literature. I found that there is something called speech and hearing in America. Then hearing and speech are related in a way. So I'm aware. Then I investigated the matter more when I was in Norway. They told me, we don't have phoniatrics in Norway, but in Sweden, phoniatrics is well developed. I was very happy. And I learned from my colleagues in Sweden that the most suitable person and department to teach me phoniatrics is in Gothenburg, the western harbor or the harbor on the western coast of Sweden. And the person there is called Björn Fritzell. He have just finished his doctorate degree and ready to teach me. I communicated with him, writing, and he said, yes, why don't you come over and discuss the matter? Come over, I'm working in Oslo. And this takes about 7-8 hours by car. So I thought, discuss the matter with my colleagues, the juniors. They advised me, disappear. And I disappeared, took the plane from Oslo to Gothenburg. I went to the Sahlgrenska University Hospital, where the department was, attached to the Department of Otolaryngology, and I met the guy, spent the whole day there. I took the last flight back to Gothenburg. I found that he made his doctoral degree on electromyography of the palatal muscle. I made my doctoral degree on the electromyography of the laryngeal muscle. It's a rare and fair chance that we can work together to see the coordination of the activity of the different muscles in the vocal tract during articulation. Said this is a good topic to present a project of research to the Royal Swedish Medical Research Institute or Council. And we won finance to this for 6 months. I was very happy. Then I can come back to him after I finish Norway, which I finished in September 70. And I came back to Egypt. It was very difficult for me even to open the topic with my teachers, my superiors. I spent 3 years in Norway. I'm coming to tell them I have to go back to Sweden. This is very strange. I said it, and they say, this is not feasible, but let us see. We'll communicate with your teacher there and ask him how long time I need, not for the research, for learning phoniatrics to a degree that I can implant it in Egypt. And he wrote back to them, 2 years. I said, okay, you go for 2 years, not 6 months. Okay, but we have finance for 6 months. And there was no financial source for more than that. So in September 71, after the passage of the winter and the spring and the summer, I decided to go, travel to Sweden, take the chance of this offer from the Royal Swedish Medical Research Council. And we started, but of course the faculty searched for me. I was not there. Then I'm deserter. So they fired me. And what to do? I'm there. The department was very kind, all of them, keen to keep me. They communicated with the dean of the faculty, who was also our professor of otolaryngology, Professor Ali al-Mufti. They told him, do the possible and the impossible to find him 18 months of scholarship there. And he found, of the scholarships that WHO is giving to the Ministry of Health, and they got the 18 months. So now I was safe in Sweden, open to learn. And to refer to you that the Royal Swedish Research Council is not inviting research assistants, here is inviting scientists. So the salary is good and it's tax-free. I can tell you, this is the biggest salary I had in my life up till this moment. And of course, it helped me to live comfortably and focus on learning. So I spent 2 years in Gothenburg, and it's exactly what I expected. It's all expected. My teachers, we were walking once in the hospital, and you see, now you have feather and ready to fly. You can work independently. I am leaving this post to the new hospital in Stockholm. Do you like to take my position? Oh, what an attraction and temptation. I said, but I mentioned to my family I'm returning. I have to return. So see that, but also after that I spent few months in the University Hospital of Lund in the south. Very famous center also, with another colleague. I mentioned to you, my teacher is Björn Fritzell in Gothenburg, and the other teacher is Søren Feks in Lund. I spent with him few months specifically for neurologically oriented disorders of language, like dysarthria and dysphasia. And after that, I landed in Egypt, also at that time in January, and started my battle, and we got the finances solved. And as I told you, when I came back, it was January. I started January the 1st, 1974. And what I had there was a small room with some metal furniture for a desk and half a secretary. We'll see the picture of it, it's coming. Okay. And in that room, I tried to show the people, of course everybody was wondering, you were a good ENT surgeon doing major surgeries in the ear and the head and neck. What's this thing you are doing with speech? You are withdrawing from the specialty. I said, no, it's related to the specialty. That's why it was very important to prove for my colleagues and superiors that phoniatrics is therapeutically effective, is clinically helpful. And I took some cases and they showed that they improved, they were cured by training. And also I had that secretary. I was keen to give her 2 writing machines, no computers at the time. One in Latin letters, one in Arabic letters, so that we can write our requests for the authorities that we need this and this equipment, we need and this rooms and furniture for the establishment of the department. And it worked. And it was very kind of my teacher and the dean of the faculty at that time, Professor al-Mufti. He received a donation of $2,000 and kept it for the department to buy the necessary equipments at the time. and we used it to buy a stroboscope from Denmark. And we started requesting the things, but the main thing in front of me now, I said, we got a phoniatrician. I know phoniatrics and logopedics or speech therapy, they work together. We must start creating and educating speech pathologists who are not MDs, not doctors. And we made a project to the university to make this course of education. It was for 1 year only at that time. Now it's 2 years. And we started 75. Remember, 74 I started, 75. I brought to them people from Denmark and Sweden to teach them through the aid programs of both Denmark and Swedish. And we examined them, qualified them in 76. And 77, we established the Unit of Phoniatrics as an administrative unit in the faculty. We are there, we are created. And nobody is objecting. And then also I knew that there is the International Association of Logopedics and Phoniatrics, as it was known at that time, and I wanted to be a member, individual member. I can't be an individual member by country because a country must have first its national society. It's too early. I went to an individual member. And then we established also the Egyptian Society. And I asked my teacher, the Professor Ali Mufti, to be the first president. I can't bypass him. He must be the first president. So now we have this. 76 was an active year. We established the master degree of phoniatrics. Ooh, breakthrough. A new specialty is introduced in Egypt in clinical medicine, and it got its roots fixed and deep. Master degree, and then the following year, 78, a doctorate degree. And we have the National Society. Nobody can object to this specialty. It is woven into the medical profession. We work at ease. And we had some problems with the requests that we're having. We are asking for dictating machines. See, you're crazy, what's that? And there was a shop in Sharia and Misaha in Cairo, who's like a peddler. He's getting things that he is buying or smuggling and putting there. We found recorders. I must have recorders to record the speech and the voice of the patients. I must have dictaphones, and we found dictaphones. And these things are not known in the hospitals. Recorders? Dictaphones, what's that? Photocopy machine, what are you talking about? I must have these things. It helps me in running the department and even making copy material for the training of children. And they wanted a class with hearing aids for the hearing impaired children. And we established it. And we wanted to have a psychologist specialized in psychometry to establish the unit within the unit of psychometry to measure the ability and assets of the child or the adults as well. So we fulfilled these things, and we appointed among us an artist who said, what are you talking about? What the artist will do here? You need a scalpel, not an artist. And they got him the table for drawing. This man, he died now, unfortunately. We are all going to die soon. He's going to make and design materials for the training with the children. The most shocking for the university is that I asked for a public relations specialist, and we got him. I expected we would have a very broad and wide and deep relation with the world. So we're going to receive guests from abroad. We're going to travel abroad. And our guests might go to see the archaeological sites. They want to see hotels for them. So the public relations will have all these communication contacts. Now we are established. To continue the story, I should not leave this stage without giving a credit to the people who helped me in at different stages. But at this stage, a couple from Denmark and a couple from Sweden were very generous to come and stay with us. Some is financed by their help organization, help to the developing world. From Denmark, Ulla and Artur Boberg, and from Sweden, Bibi and Søren Fix. I give them great credit, and 3 of them died, so God bless their souls. And I'm seen in very close communication with Bibi Fix. God save her for me. And also one of them, the picture, of course, you're going to see the pictures, is Sven Smith. He didn't come to us, but he taught me and trained me. I stayed with him in Hamburg. He was a professor of phonetics at the time. He's a Dane. He's from Danish origin. I stayed with him a week to get the technique that he developed in voice therapy, called the accent method of voice and speech therapy. And I continued developing it, and I considered that he was a very important person who inspired me to do that till, without any pride, I think I'm the only living person who is doing in the world and teaching it in the world, and is very effective. And I will show you also this panel, which having pictures of many of the people who have helped us. And this is the board of honor, I call it in our department. We still keep them, but we want to improve it a little bit. When I started, I was surprised that somehow an international meeting of dysphasia, which is the breakdown of language with a stroke. I said, my goodness, this was a gift to me. I'm coming alone. And then suddenly I have, without any effort, without any cost, the tops on the people in the world, in Europe and North America in particular, in aphasia, coming here to learn. And this stimulated me to make a little research about the screening test of the language ability after stroke. And you will see that this is a lecture that I was giving there, and many of them became friends of me till they died. So this Congress international meeting that was arranged by the Ministry of Social Welfare, don't tell me why. It's very interesting. We were buying wheat from America. Otherwise we would be hungry. We paid in Egyptian pounds, very kind of the States. The money stayed here. America wanted to use it. So it used in research projects in different places, and the Ministry of Social Welfare was the recipient of this money. And she made for us that, okay? And then I would like to show you some aspects of how we developed the department. This is going to be not only my speech, but will be pictures. A lot of pictures here is going to come. And we started by a piece of technology. Remember, we had a $2,000 fund to get a stroboscope from Denmark. And we got a microscope, Zeiss, from Germany. And we started examining the vocal folds by this microscope and the old mirror, the same old mirror. We didn't have the new endoscopes yet. And it was very good. And this is what we are going to see in the pictures. And also you started using for the endoscopes, both the flexible and the rigid, and to see the stroboscopic movements of the vocal fold. And now also the ultra high speed endoscopy, or high-speed laryngography. And this is very strange. This was made by a German firm. And after some years, when it did not become popular, apparently so, they stopped producing it. And some of the apparatus that has been purchased by them and worked hard for some years was destroyed. They were not functioning well. We discovered the one we have in the picture you're going to see is the only one working. And now we have the great pleasure to cooperate with the University of Prague and University of Helsinki in doing a project with this apparatus. and you will see the pictures. And then we also made an investment to make a recording studio, so that we're recording the voice and speech with the patient. We are dealing with voice and speech problems. How can I show that this has improved? I must have a stamp of the original and the stamp of the end of the therapy. This is achieved by a highly professional recording studio, soundproof room, electronically recorded sound signal, and then fair playback with good loudspeakers so that I can hear fairly the changes and hopefully the improvement in the voice and speech. We added also acoustic analysis, and we chose the multi-dimensional voice program, and because it has wider than the elementary things, and then also the aerodynamic things. So this is mainly for voice, but we have also a lot of work with the children, and you'll see this is the small room that in the new hospital that takes 5 kids as a group. You see, they are low chairs, but some of them having a bigger seat for the adult. The small chairs with a small seat is for the children. The low chair with a wide base is for the adult. This is in the new hospital, which was opened in 1984, and this part of the phoniatrics is all my design. The architect was French, but they left me design this department completely, including the furniture. I wanted to have the minimal amount of space, area, to have more units, because we have many children. So I made a compromise here, but every room is supplied with the essentials to handle 5 children and 1.5 therapists. The other half is rotating with the other rooms. And we devise the tools that you're going to see in here to build and to work in cooperation with the physiotherapists. Many of those kids having motoric problems, spasticity, and that's why the speech pathology working with the physiotherapist in the same place to help and position the child in a better position, so the child can have his hands free to handle everything. His eye-hand coordination is there. Okay, I'm not going to give you any lecture about the content of phoniatrics here. It is the story of development of phoniatrics. And then we have also multidisciplinary teams. I found that this is essential. And what I started is that I invited my friends and colleagues from the same class. 4 of them are almost professors. And they said, we'd like to make these teams. And I picked them up. They were very kind to help me, and we started by the team for the spastic child, the team for the cleft palate, the team for the delayed language development, and then later on the team for cochlear implant with a good team. We were the first group to do it in the country, very successful, and then it spread in the whole country. And then team for dysphagia or swallowing problem. The teams is another thing. And also we introduced the phonosurgery, microsurgery of the larynx in '74. When I was having my education with Björn Fritzell, he contacted the WHO in Copenhagen and Stockholm to arrange for me study visits to leaders in Europe. One of the leaders was in Cologne, is Oscar Kleinsasser, who is the founder of the microsurgery. I stayed with him over 3 weeks, and I brought with me some instruments. We started that, and it opened the field. And then I asked one of my friends, the head of the pathology department, to come and attend with me the surgery, to look in the microscope on the microscopic gross picture. And I would go later and look with him on the histology. That team was fantastic. We made a great push and understanding when we knew the macroscopic picture and the microscopic picture. And this taught us a career to be one of the pioneers in the world. And so this is also another phase. And I can give you an idea. With this work, the World Congress of ILP, which was called the International Association of Phoniatrics and Logopedics, took place in Washington, D.C. in 1980. Usually there are three major reports. The establishment, ILP, would choose leaders in the world to give the report, and two discussants for that report. It was on the histopathology of the lesions in the vocal folds due to vocal trauma. And it was our colleague Ichiki from Kyoto, the presenter, and one from Kurume from Japan, Minoru Hirano. He's a great man. He's not only my friend and my big brother, he's also my teacher. And myself. I was too young to be with those giants, but because when we had the microsurgery, we didn't just remove, we worked scientifically to get the professor of pathology to come to the surgical department and change clothes and stand with me and look in the microscope, and we discuss together what's there, how much should I remove, and he takes and put it in a way that he will see which one was anterior, which one is posterior. It was great, and I go with him and see the details. I learned that from Oscar Kleinsasser. He was a good pathologist. And up till now, I would prefer to go to see any material removed from the larynx and see it with the pathologist. We learn, both of us, a lot. Okay, so I was presenting you the areas which I mentioned before, the psychometry. This was developed under a colleague from the Department of Psychology. And then the microsurgery. And the histopathology of the larynx. And we also made two other units attached. A unit for research methodology. And we gave about 13 or 14 annual courses for that last for 3 days. This is very important. And then also, being partly a historian, I wrote to the university asking to establish a unit of history of medicine in our faculty of medicine. And they accepted. It was established, and this is the first of its sort in all the universities in Egypt. These are units that distinguish us. And then came the stage of spreading, and spreading the specialty. AIMS was established. We're independent. We have international communication. We go to the international meetings and we invite people with us, okay? But we have to spread it to the country. So we spread it now at that time in the 80s and 90s, we spread it to all universities, to the Ministry of Hospitals of Ministry of Health, the hospitals of the health insurance, to the military hospital, to the hospitals of the police, to all the hospitals, and private hospitals. And of course, we were known in the region, Middle East, and many of our colleagues gave us the pleasure and honor to attend with us and take their specialization and having the qualification, master and doctoral degrees. And we spread it to Saudi, to Jordan, Iraq, Sudan, Libya, Emirat, and Turkey. This is the area, Middle East. And at that time, we imported aid to United Kingdom, United States, and Canada, and Finland. They took some of our graduates there, and they were having leading positions there. It's important. And now we can say that we are over the horizon line. We achieved things. Now, if I revised with myself and with the very nice, lovable people who are listening to me or watching me, the 70s was the establishment, introducing it, telling the profession that there is a clinical medical specialty called phoniatrics. It's not easy to introduce a new specialty in clinical medicine every day. We achieved that. And we gave it all the chance. So we established it with the degrees and everything. Then the 80s showed also making the teams with other people. And then we have to make a breakthrough, send our people out to the world to learn and come and teach us. And we sent 6 people. Dr. Mahmoud, without titles, Mahmoud Yusuf, 85, went to Kalamazoo to make research on co-articulation and disfluency, stuttering. Samia Bashouni went to Yale University and to study the histology of the larynx, the laryngeal muscle, and the vocal folds. Marwa Saleh went to Iowa and worked, all of them are working with leaders in the world, top leaders in the world. I'm not mentioning it now, but it will come. And she was in the physical aspects of changes of sound with the voice disorders. And then Aliaa is working with stroboscopy, Amani Dawood working with electromyography in spasmodic dysphonia, and Ahmed Sharqawi, after Jerry Logman came and taught us here, he went to her to learn about dysphagia. So now we are international as well. Those people will return and teach us and guarantee a development for good. Yeah, we'll continue our story of phoniatrics in Egypt. Let me go back to the development of the research and academic activity here. As we refer that we established phonosurgery in '74. We work with the pathologists to have a deep understanding in the nature of those benign traumatic lesions in the larynx, non-inflammatory. And in 1980, because of our publication in this area, we were chosen to be discussants into the main report on that topic in the Triennial Congress of the International Association of Logopedics and Phoniatrics, as it was called at that time. And then the 2 discussants came together and they made a conspiracy to make a meeting for the selected people who are doing this research in benign activities and the benign aspects of the histology of the vocal fold. And we got a good push in that by the Voice Foundation America. It was presided by Jim Gould at that time. And then after that, this was in '74. 87, we made the first international meeting of phonosurgery in the world. And we picked up the leaders from Japan to the States, to Europe, to the United States. And then we also, part of related to that in phonosurgery, is that how to train starting clinicians and surgeons on that. So we adopted an Andyman model to be placed in a special box, which will really imitate the situation of the endoscopy in the theater. And we chose the larynx of the pig, porcine larynx, not just by chance, because we studied it in gross appearance and whole organ sections and found that it is very close in structure to the human larynx. So these are landmarks. I don't want to move forward to other aspects before giving it its due mention. Okay. And of course, we're still working with the research methodology courses that happens every year, and this is a pamphlet which is giving the summary of what we were giving to the attendees. It's from our university and from other universities coming to attend the courses. So now, what about the National Society? The National Society was established in 1976. I told you this is from the decade of the 70s. Everything was established in that time. And it was accepted into as an affiliated society to the International Association of Logopedic and Phoniatrics in 1977. Remember, I personally joined the ILP as an individual member in 75. And then the National Society is having this logo. It's the artists that I pointed in the department helped us in making this. So it was a value to have this drawer or artist in, and the pyramids and the mouth, of course, and the brain in this logo. And this is the numbers as it moves by the years. In 2010, we were 134 and phoniatricians and 26 logopeds. In 2014, we became 167 and 85 logopeds, and number of psychometrists 2. Okay. It will, when you will show it, and the main goal of this society is to keep us together as a body, professional body, naturally. We need that. And it also spread information to the public about the specialty and the needs of the handicap or the patient in this specialty. And it also gives a push to spreading the services, clinical services, therapeutic services, and also the preventive part of it. And also to share in the programs of education for specialists and for the public, and to support research, and also to help in tightening the ties between our society and other societies in the world. And one last goal, which is a very noble one, is to focus attention on the communicatively handicapped person, from the diagnostic, therapeutic, and rehabilitative, and employment later on, okay? And at present, this is the board is having a president and vice president and secretary general and a treasurer and 3 members at large. And when you see the growth in 20, we reached 345, and this is the phoniatricians, and the logopeds is 168, and then we have the number of psychologists was diminishing a little bit, but we restored it later on. So we were growing. I would like to summarize a little bit here. In 1974, we started. In 1975, the education of the speech pathologist is started, and in 1976, the first group graduated, and we in 76 we established officially and administratively the Unit of Phoniatrics in our university, and in 76 the master's degree was accepted, and in 76 the doctoral degree is accepted, and in 76 the National Society was established, and in 1977 it was accepted as an affiliated society with the International Association of Logopedics and Phoniatrics. It was not an easy way, but with perseverance we could sustain the problem, overcome the obstacles. And sometimes this demanded for us, don't be astonished, not only worries and effort, sometimes by sweat and tears. This is the way that, or the confrontation that a pioneer should be prepared for. But with perseverance, we prevailed. Now, we will focus on the international societies and associations in our field. I will present to you the International Association of Logopedic and Phoniatrics, ILP, or as the name has been changed lately into the International Association of Communicative Sciences and Disorders, still keeping the logo and the abbreviation, ILP. The second society is the European Union of Phoniatricians. Okay? We'll continue. The ILP, I will call it IP from now on. All the new, it's the same. In 1924, 100 years from now, it was established in Vienna, and the pioneer Emil Fröschers is the one who established it. And it included all these specialties together. Okay? And there will be a centennial celebration soon in Vienna, because established in Vienna. In this June, there will be 2 days celebration of this centennial memorial of the ILP. I'm going there, and I hope many of you will join me there. And the society also supported research by giving the Garcia Prize. Sandoz company is offering money for that, and this prize goes to the best publication in the Folia Phoniatrica. Again, this draws me to tell you that the scientific body of the ILP is the Folia Phoniatrica et Logopedica, okay? And it was established in 47. We are very old. And it gives this Garcia Prize, as I was referring to you. And this is the logo of the ILP, and the flag is given from one international meeting to the next international meeting. And to tell you a story, this flag, by the time we were expecting it to come to Cairo, it was misplaced. So we made a flag, and this is continuous up till now. I would like to correct something. I said that I was admitted as an individual member in 74. No, actually, I was admitted as an individual member before I went to Sweden to get the specialty. It was in 71. I was keen to get this link. And there's some pictures to show you the boards of that time. I was elected a member of the board in 83. And this is the big group in Tokyo in 86. And this is the executive committee of the president, Sister Marie, the secretary general, and myself. And we're sitting as a family, anywhere, sometimes sitting on the steps of the stage in the lecture room and discussing urgent issues. This is the spirit of ILP. It's a family, and we are all friends. This, again, this was in Cairo when I became the president of the society. And this is the board meeting. The new president, the old president are sitting, and they are all attentive to what we are saying. It is very encouraging. And this is the banquet in the Golden Hall in the Manial Palace. It's a magnificent place to make such a thing. And we had a soprano to sing for us. This is the dinner. Again, the executive committee. Eva Söderpalm, the secretary on my right, myself and Sister Marie, the president, or the immediate past president on my left. And the board next time. And this is a nice dinner in Copenhagen. At that time, I left the board completely. I stayed 23 or 24 years on the board. I mean, this is not because I'm coming from the Middle East that presidents are eternal. No, not that. I was not a president, but I was a member of the board for that. And I was offered at the end an honorary membership. And then my colleagues decided to celebrate this in Copenhagen, in the old town, in a restaurant, in a cellar, beautiful restaurant. And they celebrated, and I received from them recognition and love and presents. And you can see some of the pictures here, and you see every one of those persons, the dates. For example, Hans Khidr standing here, 2001, 2004. The term is 3 years. As I told you, it was 13 past presidents coming into this meeting. It's magnificent. This is the spirit. I hope this spirit will continue for another 100 years with ILP. The other society which I would like to refer to is the European Union of Phoniatricians. Of course, this phoniatrics only, but it's important because it made a battle in Europe to join the phoniatricians across the Iron Curtain. Remember the word Iron Curtain? It separates Eastern Europe, the communists, from Western Europe, the non-communists. And this was a magnificent thing to happen. It was established in 1972. And it kept on happening every year. Once in the East, well, the East is this way, and once in the West. And we were cooperating. Actually, Europe had managed to break the Iron Curtain in phoniatrics before it was in diplomacy and in politics. And you can see here that the European Union of Phoniatricians is a society that accepts European phoniatricians. I joined it because I was a member of the Swedish society. But then they opened the membership for other members and discovered that in the southern coast of the Mediterranean, there is a big community of phoniatricians, the second in size after the German. And this was Egypt. Here are pictures of the originator, the founders, and we'll see their names. Actually, I tell you their names: Oskar Schindler and Dotan Shevich and Gerhard Kittel and Peter Bidzarski. 2 Germans, 1 Italian, 1 from Yugoslavia at that time. And you see here the logo of the European Union included the map of Europe in the middle, the picture to the left, and then the names in different languages, including Russian, of course. Russian should have come in immediately. Then see what happened. The map extended to take the northern part of Africa and the Middle East because of the big number of phoniatricians that they were implanted in Egypt and the Middle East. And I wonder, is there anybody else in any establishment, any discipline that made the European Union change its map? Phoniatrics managed to do that, and I'm proud of it. And then we established the 50th anniversary of phoniatrics in Belgrade, where it was born. It was a magnificent meeting, and this is in the Opera House there. We were at the closing ceremony of that event. And this is also during the scientific sessions for discussions and giving lectures. Then we continued that in the 30th Congress. 30 years we are having congresses, but 50 years of birth. And this is the big picture. We have many people attended that Congress. And this is in honoring the old people, of course. When the society gets old, they are keen to honor the old people. And there are 2 old members here are always honored. One from Berlin, one from Cairo. And the Union of European Phoniatricians is developing for the future to be an international association of medical speech disorders. And this will be the logo of it. Another body related to that is the European Academy of Phoniatrics. This is the educational part. And this was established in 2013. So these are the international bodies that phoniatics is very much linked to it. And we work hard to establish it, strengthen it, and widen it so that it will spread phoniatrics to all countries of the world. So, to tell you that the Egyptians were having, I'm not, a nationalist or, but they were active in it so that they had leading posts in the ILP and the UEP. A member joined it in 74, and this member was elected on the board in 83, and he was elected, he is into 2 terms as a treasurer. Then he was elected president. Then another member was elected a member of the board, and a member was elected an honorary member, and there another member was elected again, and that member became the Secretary General, and then he was elected a president in 2023. So many Egyptians have been giving a hand to support running this establishment. And an Egyptian, a graduate of our department, but he's from another university here, he moved to Finland and he became the president of the European Union of Phoniatricians. We finish this comments or this section of my narration to tell you the development of the specialty. We saw the development of the International Association of Cultivating Phoniatics, the European Union, but the specialty, which started in Berlin by Hermann Gutzmann Sr. in 1905. In 1980, there was a celebration in Berlin where the specialty started, and it was the 75th anniversary. And this was a good meeting in Berlin. Berlin was still the East and the West. The wall was still there, but we all went there to celebrate. And you will see some pictures in it. And they made a way that they will ask a group of active members to present research, and they published this research as the book, which is 75 Years Phoniatrics. And they gave those people a medal, a beautiful medal, and this is the Hermann Gutzmann medal. And we'll see some picture of it. And this is this big number here, which is 26. Don't be astonished that this might be half of the total number of phoniatricians at that time in 1980. See how many have we increased? We are in hundreds. So this was the story of the societies that are linked to the specialty of communication disorder, phoniatics, and logopedics. We'll continue our narration about the Egyptian phoniatrics once more. How did it fare beyond the initial phase? We continue our narration story. After exposing and focusing attention on the international bodies to which we are affiliated, the ILP and UEP, and also we refer to that the UEP has a sister body which is called the European Academy of Phoniatrics, which is having the responsibility of education. So I will make a pause and go back to our unit of phoniatrics in Egypt. I focus about what we are doing of research and of publications for teaching. So I will tell you that In our library, we have 17 periodical and some books. And we have written also 6 volumes, small volumes, on the different aspects of phoniatics for the students of master and even doctor can go to it. So we say that this is the minimal that one should know. Of course, it is all open for the periodicals to read in. And we have published collectively almost about 135 research in worldwide known periodicals and 25 books. Some of them professional, some of them are cultural, okay? The last, actually, don't be astonished, is a poetry book. Suddenly, I was captured by poetry when I was 85, the first time. And then I started writing in a way that is not possible to stop it. And now we have a book of 400 pages with poems in Arabic, classical Arabic. Now we are doing some research. At this stage, it is astonishing for me that we are doing research with other universities. So there is a project now with Harvard Medical School, and this project have won support and finances by the National Institute of Health in the United States. There is also a joint project cooperating in it, which is between us and the University of Helsinki in Finland and University in Prague in the Czech Republic. And let us see, these are some examples of the books that we have written and books that we participated in and was published internationally. The book about the accent method, which was published in the United States, has been translated to both Japanese and Korean. And then also in the unit, we continued making, study circles or small conferences or symposiums or even panels and seminars. And this would cover all our specialty. We do it annually. And then this is about child language, about the way to handle voice disorders and voice therapy and physiology of voice. And then there is special seminars on cochlear implants and on dysphagia, which is taking a lot of attention nowadays, and phonosurgery on animal models, and on fluency disorders, as well as seminars on the essentials of research methodology. This keeps us busy, and this some of the people who participated in this seminar on child language. And then we started doing the international congresses. This is another phase. We made seminars that is arranged by us, and we invited for it speakers from the world. But making international meetings that you are, as an organizer, representing the international body, making that meeting in your country, elected to be made in your country, and you are organizing it, spreading information, tempt the people to come and join, and then promise the people to give them a very successful and attractive congresses. We'll go through this, but I will, before moving to the general, this was a special seminar in 1977. This means 3 years after I returned. And this seminar lasted for 3 months. The seminar title is to give education for MDs, doctors in communicative disorders, preparing them to be attracted to be phoniatricians. we had 2 or 3 coming from the Middle East, because the topic is not very popular, not known. But this was very interesting and took the attention on the top of the country. We opened the seminar by the presence of the First Lady, Jihani Sadat, the wife of our President Sadat, and with the Dean of the faculty and a colleague from Denmark who was really pushing hard to make this thing in the Middle East. He worked hard to make it, and we will always keep this favor that he is extended over us with great appreciation, and we cherish it. Ole Benson, his name is. And of course, most of the people in the coming pictures are not with us now. But this was a great challenge for me, because I had to go to the airport and meet the people coming, whether the teachers, because for that seminar, not only the 3 candidates, but there are teachers in the field of phoniatrics coming from all over the world, successively during the 3 months. And to meet them, the airport was not that modern at that time. I would be standing in the crowd on the pavement and trying to hear whether this flight from that city is landing, and wait for an hour or 2 for them to show up, take them with my car to their destination and accommodation. But it was stimulating, and we learned a lot, and we helped other people to know about phoniatrics. This was in the decade when we were just establishing phoniatrics. This is public relations for it, and we thank the people who stimulated us to do it. Along the earlier stage, as I referred earlier, we had some interest in the histopathology of benign lesions in the larynx, in the vocal fold. And we presented that in our the role of discussant in the main report in Washington, D.C., in the ILP World Congress 1980. And then we made a symposium inviting people who are interested in this in 1984. This was still invited. And then we made another such a symposium or seminar for phonosurgery. And then we opened ourselves to the main body, professional body, is electing us to make a World Congress in that field. We'll go through this with some pictures in the coming few minutes. We will open the file of international meetings, because this was part of our activities which was really close to our hearts, because it allows us to work hard, to invite people, to know people, exchange knowledge with the people, and it introduces us to the world as well. So first, this was a hand-picked symposium in 1984, and by the selected faculty with those who worked on histopathology of the vocal folds, developmental and benign aspects. This was under the chairmanship of John Kirshner and Ibrahim Musallam, my teacher there, okay? And you will see these people, I think we were 14, picked up, and this is the list of names of the invitees. And this was Oscar Kranzas. Of course, he has a great work in that, especially also with Minoru Hirano. He was giving a lecture the day before the symposium. Then the symposium was opened by John Kirshner, and who is appointed by the Voice Foundation to be the editor of the volume, the book that will come out of this. Because the Voice Foundation of America, chaired by Jim Gould, participated basically in the finances of this symposium, to invite the people by travel and stay here, and of course in the Congress itself, or the symposium itself. And this is some pictures of this symposium. And this was arranged in a way that's a T-shaped table. The transverse is for the chairman and the speaker. The elongated for the faculty, the symposium members who were invited. And all around are the people listening to us. And you can see it very well here. And the breaks, we were having our lunch in the dining room of the hospital. It's very strange. At that time, we have a chef from Britain called Mr. England, and he was giving us fantastic. The hospital was modern at that time, and the picture would show you that it gives us the cold plates and then the warm plates in an automated warm carriage. It was very comfortable for us to do this thing, and of course, reduce the cost of running these things. And then at the end, Professor John Kirshner edited the presentation, he recorded everything, even the speech of our dean who came to open the Congress. And there came this beautiful volume of a vocal fold histopathology, a symposium. So this is something that we're proud of up till now. And then the International Congress, or the first International Congress in Phonosurgery. And here we are showing you the opening with the Minister of Health coming, the President of the Egyptian Society of Otolaryngology, and the Dean of the faculty, because he is the host of the site. And this is the faculty in here, and the activities are going on. And I remember that the faculty is great, of course. I enjoyed it enormously. But after a lapse of a day and a part, I told them, I raised my hand, and this is not a question, it's a comment. I worked hard for a year to make or to arrange the meeting, a very special meeting with the leaders of phonosurgery. And after a day and more, I am hearing and seeing photosurgery. I'm looking at the pictures that has improved. But what about the voice? And some of them, they were objecting, do you want me the big recorder? I said, no, get an audio cassette. It's much smaller than a video cassette. And then I gave it this, and my colleagues in the world are still quoting me, photosurgery or phonosurgery. Of course, we are working for phonosurgery to improve the voice, not the picture. And this is a colleague of mine from Hamburg was giving this presentation in Vienna, and he chose to put my comment and put my name on it there. This is still the, and then after that, we made, this is a society that picked Egypt to make its Congress in Egypt. They paid their presence, they paid the registration fees and their accommodation, everything. We were just organizers. Before that, we were covering all the expenses. And one of them, as I told you, is the Voice Foundation of America, which was covering it. Okay, this is the Collegium Medicorum Theatri, the doctors, medical doctors who are responsible or interested in problems of the voice for people working in the theater. It's called theater, okay? And a small group, it's a very specialized group. These were having a photograph in front of the hotel we were holding it. It was the Nile Hilton, one of the best hotels in Cairo at that time. And this is the group. It's not a big group, but we were all very specialized for the professional voice. And yes, the Organization of Promotion of Tourism in Egypt, an important organization in the Ministry of Tourism, appreciated too much that we made this Congress, which is not invited. They are coming by their choice. And they gave us, they call it a token of thanks that we are doing that. So this after the first Congress, and I was always wondering, we're grateful that they gave us this. It's a beautiful thing. And what would they say after giving 10 such congress? Some of them was over 3,000 participants. Actually, what we gained is that one of us became a tourist guide. Myself, I went into the exam and I got a permission to guide in 5 languages. So this tourism and congresses, because Congress will definitely part of tourism, scientific tourism, let's say. And this is the picture from Harare, Zimbabwe, and this is the picture of the organizing or the inaugural meeting of the Pan-African Federation of Otolaryngological Societies. Africa is big, 3 times as big as Europe, and to keep this, and multiple cultures, multiple languages, it's a big task, but we managed. And we established here the first Congress. Again, it's a Congress they participated. We did some expenses, of course, but people are participating. And of course, where to make this Congress? In a hotel in the Nile, because the Nile is the link between Egypt and Africa, and would always be. And this is the picture of the attendees in front of the Nile with a beautiful weather. And in the formal dinner, we are exchanging the flag between Cairo and Dakar in Senegal. Continue the saga of the international meeting, or the societies held in Egypt by election from international bodies in phoniatrics and otolaryngology. Okay? When the matter is not that I'm inviting people to a symposium or seminar, it becomes a big dose laden with politics. For example, this meeting of the Collegium Otorhinolaryngologicum Amicae Sacrum, as if it is a prayer in Latin. But it means that the College of Otolaryngology, ENT, for holy friendship. Amicae Sacrum means holy friendship. It was established in 1926, almost 100 years coming. So take care, we have to celebrate it. And this was an outcome of the World War I or the Great War, because the Great War created a wave of hate in Europe, especially against Germany. And they tried, idea came from Denmark, then from Holland, from smaller countries, tried to make this society, collegium means it's a group, a college. College means they are friends. And it is in ENT, otorhinolaryngology, and it is Amicae Sacrum, for sacred friendship. After the idea was almost complete to be established, France came with an objection. The hate that France had to Germany after the Great War was enormous. But it was established. It was established in the Netherlands, in Holland, in 1926. Each country is allowed 10 members. Now it's 15. And to get into this membership, the Secretary General of this collegium will ask you to send your CV to 3 referees, and copies of the last or the 5 papers of your choice, because they have very high standard to allow that. Because at the end, the collegium is a group of the very sophisticated otolaryngologists, scientists, and also they became the decision makers in the world in this collegium. I love this collegium. I am proud of this collegium. Egypt got members in it, enough to justify that Egypt will invite the collegium. And at last we got voting that they will come to Egypt. Some problems happened here with terrorism and so on in the area, made some members to put pressure on the Secretary General to cancel the Congress, which was supposed to be in Egypt. Not yet, supposed to be. And it was cancelled. And I had to defend the situation. I was the only Egyptian attending the General Assembly. It was in Munich in Germany. It was very hard on me. But they say, okay, we'll keep it to cool down. And we waited for at least 8 years before I got a notion from the Secretary General. Now it's time to invite us again. And I was very happy to invite them again. And this was in 1992. And the Congress took place in Mina House, the very nice and old hotel by the pyramids. And we can see some pictures here. And of course, this monumental picture of the whole collegium in front of the pyramid, this is a historical achievement for both us and the collegium. And we had a scientific program and a social cultural program of first class. And it was a real success. And I took most of them to a trip to Upper Egypt. And when we do that, it was a private plane taking us from Cairo to Abu Simbel. And in this trip, we crossed the Tropic of Cancer, once going south and once going up. I gave them a certificate that they have crossed the Tropic of Cancer twice that day. And we were met by the mayor of a farmer, the mayor of Abu Simbel. And they were very interested in the fact that they said, I left my jacket in the plane and went and made the tour and came back. It's our plane. And then we returned to Aswan, had a beautiful dinner, and then we went to see Philae Temple in moonlight. Outstanding. They were spellbound. After the show, I asked the people to put the lights off, and we stayed in Philae Temple. Remember, I'm a guide, they know me. And we saw this magnificent monument in moonlight. They were all in tears. And we continued the program, of course, scientific program, and it was a memorable thing. And of course, I was the president of the Congress. The president has a medal to carry all the time. And this is a picture of some past presidents getting together. And in the 75th anniversary, we made the celebration. It should have been in Cairo, but the Cairo Congress was postponed because of the 11th of September problem. The planes that went into the trade complex in New York, horrible thing. And the Queen Beatrice, attended that meeting. And she stayed with us after the lectures. And the professor, a Dutch professor, presenting the special things. I mean, to make it in Europe, it's almost the same. But to make it in Egypt or in Japan, it is a phenomenon. So he was showing in the booklet of the program of the Egyptian Congress and the big pictures in front of the pyramid. After the meeting, Her Majesty came to greet us and to have a cup of coffee with us, and you can see her with us. And they were introducing us to her, that professor and professor. So she commented, oh, I am among very high IQ here. It was a magnificent thing. This is the collegium. And that it was important to tell you these pictures, these stories about it. Okay, next we had the World Congress of ILP. It was in 1995, okay? And we have it in the Congress Center, the new Congress Center in Madinat Nasser. And this is a lovely picture again for the Executive Committee, President, Secretary General, and Treasurer sitting on the steps of the stage of the Hofu Hall of that Congress. We're a family. We solve all problems. And this is the real phenomenal picture in front of the Congress Center in Madinat Nasser. This is another picture for us in Tokyo. Okay, and another one here. And then we moved to the IFOS meeting. IFOS is the International Federation of Otolaryngological Societies. We won the honor and the pleasure of organizing the Congress in Egypt, and we made magnificent campaign so that we were elected. We won against 6 other countries. You couldn't imagine that we won that. The Congress, the General Assembly was in Sydney in Australia, and we won. And we were preparing everything. A couple of weeks before, the 11th of September catastrophe in New York happened. Oh my God. It has to be postponed. No one would come. We postponed it for a year. And then in a meeting, small meeting with and there were also a problem that the General Secretary of IFOS, the old one was leaving, the new one was to receive the responsibility. So we met in the house of one of them, the Dutch one, the new one, near Leiden. And we discussed the matter. And there were a lot of questioning for us and so on. I said, I'm coming to you with the bag of the Congress ready. We are ready to make it. And we cannot make compensation. Then they decided to postpone. And those who cannot come next year can give their membership participation to other people. And of course, the symbol of us always is our King Tut. And he is our guardian in these congresses. And we made for them a cultural program that's outstanding. We gave them a private performance of Aida in front of the pyramids. Most of them, the knowledgeable of them, said, we will never see Aida again. This is Aida where it belongs. Aida Verde is Aida, of course, we all know. Okay? And next, after that, we were in Rome, and I was the president of the Congress at that time. Okay? So we are left with another big Congress, the World Voice Congress. It took place in Luxor. And this is an aerial view of the Luxor temple. It's magnificent. And this is the opening ceremony. It shows the flags of the countries participating. And this is some activities, preparing a lecture. It's not only fun, it's lectures, of course. And this is another lecture which is focusing on the electrophysiology of the laryngeal muscles. And this is one of the social events is to have a concert in front of the pylon of the Luxor temple in the night. And I'm giving the introduction, and then we took a ferry, Dahabiyya, to reach from our hotel to the Luxor temple, had our dinner on board, and then we crossed the Corniche, went into there. And when we came in, the lights started coming in, and the playing the victory march of Aida, of course. This is Luxor temple by night. It is nothing in the world is like this place. It's magnificent, simply magnificent. And then we had this recital of 2 basses and 1 soprano and a pianist. The piano There is a small piano in Luxor, in the Winter Palace Hotel, but this is a big piano in the open air. We paid 16,000 pounds to bring that piano from Cairo to Luxor, and the person who will adjust it. And then the pianist in the left accompanying, and our Ridar Wakil bass, and Mona Rafla soprano, and a colleague of us. He's not a prophet, but many of the phoniatricians are good singers, and he's a bass. It was a magnificent thing. Then this dinner in front of the pylon of the Medinat Habo, or the funerary temple of Ramses III. Magnificent. And we had a Nubian performance out of this, all in full moon, 3 nights of full moon, magnificent. And I'm not stressing this to tempt you to come back to Egypt. You are most welcome, but I'm not as active as I were at that time. But I will do my best. If you like to choose to come to Cairo again, please come. We'll welcome you. It's not a propaganda. And then we are talking now about the National Congress. We started the National Congress. Sometimes we are talking with the board of our National Society, said, we have to start making an annual Congress for the Egyptian society. Some were skeptic, who is coming? No, it's a big job. Now we're doing it. These pictures from the 3rd National Congress in Alexandria. And this is in the University Hospital. We're having this picture. Alexandria, the weather is magnificent. And the 5th Congress was in Mansoura and Ras Al Bar, and with a lunch invitation in our farm in Basandila, between Mansoura and Ras Al Bar. And the 6th one was in Semiramis Hotel, arranged by the first one arranged by the University of Mansoura, and the president was our colleague Dr. Tamer Abu Saad. And the one in Semiramis is by Cairo University, Qasr Aini, and it's by Dr. of course Professor, all of them are Professor Hussam al-Dusukhi. And the 8th was made in Luxor, with the cooperation of Ahmad Abdul Halim and Ahlam al-Adoui. And April the 16th, soon, we are in April, soon this will be the World Day of Voice. We have to celebrate it and introduce the issue of voice and how we should care for our voices. Don't speak or sing in a room which is dry, humidity between 40 and 60%. I mean, we have to, and then we made one of the first such day of voice, the World Day of Voice. It was in our hospital, and here representative leaders of the university and the faculty gave us the honor to attend, and I'm presenting, and then those people came to participate, to focus in. This is a lawyer, this is a preacher, this is a TV man, this is a singer, a male singer and female singer, a soprano, and this a reciter of Quran, Dr. Naina and another one. Wonderful public came there, and we made a very good issue and presentation of the importance of voice and to take care of. And yeah, I'm giving here a summary of what years we worked. The first decade, 70s, was to establish the foundation of phoniatics in Egypt on all levels. So we became well recognized, and we were copied later on in other countries. Future, I can't tell you. It must be really promising. We work hard. Now phoniatricians are over almost 500 in Egypt. In January 1974, it was one. This is a good, we can say, population explosion. Good. And then I will try to give my place to one of my colleagues to tell you how did the world appreciate our movement, and we also at the same time very much appreciate the world's support to us, and we will always be looking forward to a greater cooperation between us and all phoniatricians in the world. Some of the achievements of the Union of Phoniatrics through the 50 years is the publication of books, not only papers. Papers I presented before, 135 at least, maybe more. But the books, some of the books are academic and clear it's academic and leading, like this is the yearbook of 75 years of phoniatrics with the Medal of Kutzman. This is vocal food physiology series, this highly professional series, and the authorship is by invitation. Mm-hmm. And we are here, we are invited to write about the voice quality. Okay? And this is the book of the seminar or symposium on histopathology of the vocal fold lesions, benign and developmental. So these are dear to me, very dear to me, and there are many books. I didn't bring it here. It is a book that we wrote a chapter in. It's not all, but this is very important. This is very professional. This is very memorial, and this is our creation. So then this book is very dear to me also because this is the first book about access method. But anyhow, he wrote pamphlet in Danish and translated into German. It cannot lead you anywhere. This is by invitation, and you quite well, Daimless asked that publisher, Singular Publishing Group, and they gave me 1 year to give this book. And we worked hard. All this was nothing, papers and books.
I remember that time.
Yeah.
Very well.
So this is the access method of voice therapy. As I referred to you, I was stuck with it. Fate made me so, because there are definitely many people in Europe still living. One of them is still is my teacher, yeah. But they didn't work academically in it. It's stuck with me, and they are calling me the master of access method. This book is translated into Japanese and into Korean. And this is the first book which was translated for me, and that's it's spreading, and I'm astonished that down under is spreading a lot.
Yeah. I remember you used to spend time in Japan, where you used to stay there for at least a month.
That's
to give
why
them,
it was translated in Japanese. Yeah. I was teaching there for 14 years, a month a year at least.
Yes, you do that every year.
And also, I visited a lot Korea.
That is my surprise. I did not realize that you actually
I went there.
taught in Korea.
And yes, I had very close friends there. And I went to Korea, I think, 10 or 12 times. Mm-hmm. And now already having a book 400 pages of poetry. Mm-hmm. And then these are the professional books. We take this. This is a nice book about the quarter I was living in as a young child up to my early youth. Mm-hmm. It was quiet place, everything, the villas, and it is 1 kilometer by 800 meters. Mm-hmm. We were probably 2,000 living there. And we don't have a market except a street mall. 10 shops for the essentials. Anything more than that, we go to Zaytun, which is next to us. But this for the essentials. And I wrote here about Hilmiya. Ayyam, the days, not the nights, because there are nights. Hilmiya is another thing. This is the days of Hilmiya. The social life in Hilmiyat Zaytun al-Qadima. Hilmiyat Zaytun, not al-Hilmiyat. Hilmiyat Zaytun al-Qadima. And I don't have picture. And the Hilmiyat Zaytun is destroyed. But I'm bringing pictures from some places. And when I put the source, so ethically it's correct. It's the piano, because every apartment, every villa should have a piano at that time. So this one. Then this is the famous story of my uncle and saving Anna, who was sentenced to go to the concentration camps, and he have hidden her and made the Gestapo, the political police in the Nazi system, to be confused. 3 years he protected her and risked his life till she's saved, and went to America and made a nice, beautiful family there. And there is a movie about it.
And your uncle was a doctor?
Yeah, actually he's my mother's uncle, but they are close in the age. So he's my uncle, and he and his wife for me are second father and mother. And then this is my love. I love Norway, and this is I call it a message from Norway. جمال وسكينة ودروس. Some people said, who is Gamal and Sakina? That's why I put Gamalun وسكينة ودروس. And it's illustrated in color, and it is showing the beauty of Norway. All the chapters covers everything about Norway. Even see the taxes and the welfare system, everything, agriculture, everything. And this is my picture there. Can you show it to us? See the frame, the one in the yes, here underneath. This, when I finished my stay there, the professor of otolaryngology, Professor Peter Berdel, insisted that we get the official photographer of the hospital. We stand, all the department was standing. This is a slope. That's why it's a natural slope. And when the sun was rising, we took this. I'm standing on his right. His right is a nurse, head nurse. This is the head nurse of the surgery. On his left is the head nurse of the inpatient. And the one nurse here is of the outpatient. I'm sitting next to him. There was a likeness between us. He considered me a son and considered him a father. This when I left to Norway. And I never left Norway. So that book is of Norway. I sent 2 copies, see how the national dresses and the instruments and the dancing and nature and the way of life of the Norwegians. In the countryside. And so I put 2 of them in a wooden box, should not be expensive, and wrote a letter which is highly professional, respecting the royal couple, and sent them to the royal, and they accepted, and they asked the secretary to send me thanks. I don't say at all I wrote a book about the Quran. No, there is no way to do that. It is a study on the Quran. I know, I need that. Okay. Study on the Quran. I started by this. It's called Thus Spake the Quran. Spoke or spake is the not speak, spoke the Quran. Also sprach Zarathustra, like Nietzsche who said it. And my system is to write in the chapter a very short paragraph and let the verses of the Quran that I chose tell us the story.
This was the first book that you
See,
gifted me and I made when you visited us.
And this is the one, can you give me that book?
Translated.
This is the one that my colleague, Professor Metin Onershi, admired it as it was still as a stencil copy. And he translated. And yes, he translated the ayahs. So he really translated as it should be. Because I wrote only and this way of presenting it, and the ayahs are not footnotes, is the body of the book. Like a professor in Al-Azhar liked it very much, Professor Matani, Sheikh Matani, he liked it very much. And he called this book, the manuscript at the beginning, this great Sifr. Sifr means book. Has a Sifr al-Azim. And So that book is also translated. He is with the translation here. This in Turkish, translated in Turkish. And this is the second study on the Quran. This is which is more serious. I write more, and I use, of course, I use the verses and ayahs, and it has must be that is the old version.
Can you explain the title? Can you explain the title of the book?
The title is Didn't They comprehend the Quran?
Comprehend, contemplate.
And twice the Lord is teasing us. Didn't they comprehend the Quran? And if it is not from him, they would have found a great difference and confusion. And the other one, haven't they comprehended the Quran? Or their hearts are within cage. Their hearts are locked up. We published what we were writing and giving, including a little bit of statistics. And I kept telling people, statistic is not research. It's a way, it's only that when you got a result, you would like to see if this is meaningful or it's a chance. That's the only thing. But statistics does not give you ideas. Statistics does not give you a methodology. It does not give you a way to collect your data and then make the mental process in discussion and see how the results are whispering to you. This is the most important thing, how the results are whispering to you in the ear. So this is the book about research methodology. But the flagship of my writing is this book about the history of Egypt through the ages. It's 4 books. They are all illustrated here on the edge. And of course there is a 4th volume. It is apparently it's here now, the 4th volume. This is Mulhaqat. So these are the 4 volumes here. The ancient Egypt, pharaonic. This is the Middle Ages, after that, including the Ptolemaic and the Roman, and the advent of Christianity in Egypt. Then Islam, and then this is modern history. This is our time, from Napoleon to the present, not to the present, till 1950. I didn't write anything after 1950 because I lived it, and my way here is to give my interpretation of what's happening and choose the pictures because it must be illustrated. Because I want it to be simple. It is an illustrated summary. The history of Egypt through the ages, illustrated summary, and it's color, so that the Egyptians, young and old, should be tempted to read about their own history. And there are maps. Whenever it's needed, maps are speaking. Okay? And also histograms.
I remember this histogram. You used to hold this one and explain it in the bus when we took our guests from all over the world in any of your guided tours.
I have it as a loose paper.
And I remember Diane being fascinated by this histogram.
Actually, Diane is the one, Diane is the one who made me that on the computer.
Yeah.
I went to Madison before you to inspect that you are going to be comfortable. And they gave me a room, because if you are in a floor, you must be counted in the number of people in that floor. When the elevator stops, maximum population is 10. So they found me a room, and there was added to that population, and she sat with that computer with her skin in that. I like this lady very much, and we were very happy that we call ourselves the Hirano siblings, brother and sister in Hirano, with our teacher and a friend. He's also a friend. And she helped me making all that, okay? And this, the histogram, it gives you an idea about
The rise and fall of civilizations at that time.
Yeah, and so that should be my dream. This will be in the shelf of every flat, every home, wherever it is, and all all this what you see of what they have left us is studied from Alexandria to North Nubia, not only to Abu Simbel, North Nubia. Masterpieces everywhere, well kept. Okay, this is a group of the medals, the golden medals, for example. This is for the I can tell you this about the general surgeon in Australia. It's like the Minister of Health or something academic. And this is the Societas Latinas of ENT. And this is of Siena University. And this is IFOS, International Federation of Otolaryngological Societies. And this is the two of the UPE, the Academy, and the Union of European Societies. And this is from the National Congress of the Hungarian Society. Okay, so we went through, but this is a special thing that I got from ILP after having all the medals. This is a long-standing international award. I don't know what's the meaning of long-standing. It says a standard you put. It's silver.
Yeah.
And this is from the Brazilian Society, thanking me that this was a composition in and this diamless, Marabella, that is, give it to me. Okay, so these are the honors. But the other medals, these are medals we made in the Congress of World Congress of IFOS in Egypt. This
These
is
are special ones.
copper, and this is silver. Okay, and also this anybody can do, but to ask the officials to make you an Egyptian pound with the name of IFOS in it, this is strange. But we made it in إدارة سك النقود. It's a 30 kilometer.
So these are official silver,
yes, with the name of IFOS in it.
pound.
And this is a stamp, a memorial stamp, and this is the few that they are on an envelope and stamped also. So, and not many organizers will ask for these things. We wanted them to be very, very special. For example, when we went to the post-Congress tour, and we were flying, as I told you probably this morning or yesterday, that we had, because no regular line was available, so we got a private plane. And we went, when we arrived to the village of Abu Simbel, they left the car, the plane, and we left our jackets there and took the bus to the temples. They were very impressed. But from Aswan to Abu Simbel, you cross the Tropic of Cancer, going south and going north. And I made them a certificate for that and gave it to them when we have dinner in Aswan after returning. So these are important things. Important things. These are things that make our visitors keen to acquire and keen to tell people and let people come. This is tourism. Okay. So these are, and for the IFOS also we made mugs, made T-shirts, and we sold it.
So I think the mugs and the T-shirts are like becoming standard. They might not have been standard then, but this definitely is not standard. And the stamp, these are beyond standards, and these are things to be commended for.
Sure. One of the special token of distinction is this one. This is a royal decree from His Majesty King Carl XVI Gustav of Sweden. This decree is in 8th of June 1990.
Okay.
34 years. 34 years. Professor Mohammed Nasser Kotby is Khidr is a knight of the Royal North Star Battalion, first class.
First class.
First class. And it's in Stockholm, 6th of September. That طلع ده إنما اتمضى 6th of September 1990. And this is the seal. So to be knighted in Sweden, this is usually given to officials in the diplomatic circles or important officials, but not. I'm a normal citizen. I'm not an official. I'm a professor at university. This is not an official post. And but as I know for sure, as my colleagues said, a big group of my friends in Sweden had a motion, and they wrote to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as the first step, and then to the court, the royal court, that we recommend this man to have this honor because he is standing with one foot sure and stable in his culture and language, and with the other foot stable in our culture and language. So I'm a bridge between the two nations. I deserve it. Yeah. This is something very interesting. I went to Tanzania and I stayed very near the Kilimanjaro mountain. And after I went, I didn't go very high, but I knew that I reached that level. So I went down to the office and insisted that they write this certificate. This man went for a day trip this morning, date 12/7/2014. He managed to reach 2,000 miles. He spent about 3.5 hours, and he is about 77 years of age, and he is the oldest tourist of today.
I like that.
The Mount Kilimanjaro, okay?
The oldest tourist of the day. I love that.
Let me have this. Oh la la. You push it. Here it is. This is when you hold it so that, yes, we hold this way. The Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. The President and the Fellows of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh hereby admit to the fellowship and ad hominem, the fellowship ad hominem for the person. Mohammed Nasser Kotby is talking of his experience and qualifications and ordained that he is entitled to share all the honors and the privileges enjoyed by fellows of that said college. And the sea. And we had a picture. This is while this is the UEP. This is actually it's an ink doctor that Dr. Mahdi Amin Yaraf. And he's present. I stand up in the big theater where the people who passed the exam, who had it by the sweat, stand, and he is talking about me, and that he's saying, in the time that people are retiring, he is preparing to host the whole world in a big congress in Cairo for the societies of otolaryngology. This is one of the things I don't remember. And this is, we went out in the right, and I'm with my dear friend. He is the president at that time. Then he is giving me the diploma.
Beautiful.
So, of course, when I saw that, and then in the evening we had a beautiful dinner, of course, in at least tuxedo, in black tie. But I went in Prince Street. There is a shop which is 4 floors that makes the national dresses of Scotland. I went there and asked for the fitness of the most formal one, Jolly Prince Charlie, that I'm having here. And this you can have the honors on it. You can't have the honors on a suit like that. It's not it's against protocol. So because of that, I spent 700 and 800 sterling to buy this set. And that's why I'm having photographs with it.
Yeah.
It's
worth it.
You have seen it.
Yes, of course.
And I'm having the order. I feel responsible for my deeds because I'm honored by the king. So I must keep this. And then, of course, all the societies that you said that I'm an ordinary member, they give us diplomas. I can't present all of them, but this is the Hungarian. Absolutely. This is the Hungarian decree.
I like this.
Societis Medicorum Otorinum Locicum Hungarianum, in Latin, of course, and the seal to Professor Dr. Nasser Kotby. All the others, of course, you have, and the honorary membership of IP is hanging on the wall. We have to put this inside. This is a copy of it. I think this is a copy of it. Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, it's a copy of it. We put it inside. So these are some of the things that shows the profile of my personality.
Of your achievements.
Yeah.
There is actually the photograph that you have on the wall. Would you like to show it to me, the one with the medal?
So this is myself in the formal dress, in the Jolly Prince Charlie, and this is so formal that I can have the honor. This is the honor of the knighthood, and these are in Scotch, and this is in a modified Scotch. I having a black trousers, but this formal enough because this should be worn with frack, not smoking. Okay.
You look very smart in that.
Yeah, and actually, I am here. So let me see this. This is the youngest picture for me. I was going down. We were in villas in Mahemit Zatoun. We are in the ground floor. We are in the first floor, and my nurse was taking me out, and she knew that, and she loved me very much. So she stopped us and had a picture. This is the youngest I have. I think 2 years.
Beautiful picture. You are shabby. Shabby cheeks.
Okay, and this is another one. Yeah. I was seated on a table and said, I'm not safe, I'm holding very tightly and I'm moving a lot. Yeah.
And is this your grandmother and grandfather over there?
Yeah.
Your grandfather, you had a special relationship with him.
Everybody's caring for me and having my room and studying. This is very good. So from the second year, I got just pass, almost.
In medical school,
Good.
second in medical school.
At the end, I was in the first in surgery and the fourth in the whole group, and yeah. And the third year, I was the second. So because this, and of course, this is nice. He would be proud, and the dean will call my father when he signs it, not when he gets go in and get in it. When it is on his desk to sign, he called my father. That is, and of course we are happy that the dean is, he's happy that I'm on the top. Yeah, these are things.
Well, we cannot thank you enough for this beautiful time we had with you. And we know it's been a long day, so please forgive us. But we feel this is your special gift to the whole world. Now we finalize with all of the extraordinary positions that Dr. Kotby has held throughout those 50 years of phoniatrics in Egypt and the Middle East, and the extraordinary positions and honors that he has been knighted by his colleagues all over the world. Dr. Kotby's history is of awards and recognitions have been long, and hopefully will always be still going, and an inspiration for all of us to follow in his footsteps. Thank you for listening today. We really appreciate your time, and I'm very thankful that Dr. Kotby was able to complete this interview with us today. Hope you all enjoy. Have a good day.